And we are at a point in the idea of the trustfulness of our identities with ourselves as teachers of God, where in particular references of our correspondence with ourselves, we are going to attempt to examine natures of honesty in the particulars of trust that we are involved in the beginning of a rapid conversion of the correspondence of our mind as teachers of God in this manual for teachers, that in the increase of the frequency of self-recognition, we have become trustful in the nature of a complete alternative of mind that is available to us at this time. So welcome to A Course in Miracles, and welcome to the Manual for Teachers, when, where, and in I'm classified as an advanced teacher. Certainly advanced to the extent where the correspondence of mind that I am offering you in the exchange of the characteristics of our emotional involvement with ideas about ourselves in body forms, we have begun within the capitalization of ourself in mind identity to place individual trust in the activity of how we're going to see ourselves in correspondence with the solution of our body form that we have found in the activity of a new involvement of trust that has led us to a continuing necessity within our factor for an honest evaluation of ourselves. As the Master Teacher, it's my privilege, through the resurrection of my Savior, Jesus, who is present with us now in this energy factory, to begin in particular manners of what we would term reflections of light identity in the term of application of the Passion of the Christ, to the idea of the resurrection of the body form, that our initial encounter required that we be honest. Look with me. I'm appearing with you now in a moment of the idea of a revolutionary reassociation of the power of your mind in our Course in Miracles, that in a systematic redefinition of yourself, going on in a converting nature of yourself, would allow you to look with the particular references of power of mind to make decision are at within this teacher's manual an initial capacity to express variations of temporal mind association in what we term the human species of man. Very simply, a continuing activity of the possibility of successfully converting the nature of self-recognition that heretofore constituted your idea about yourself in a continuing reference of alteration of space-time that in effect is going on simultaneously by the nature of our attempt to correspond with each other in any regard. Did you see that with me? Thank you. Practice with me for just a moment in the idea of increasing frequencies. Did you see that activity? Were you able to see the activity of participation in a momentary idea that we would trust each other in the wholeness of an alternative of what we have previously viewed as ideas about ourselves? The amazing examples of this are not difficult. If there's a fundamental admission, shall we look at it together? The universe, everything that you see out there, all the billions of stars, all of the correspondence of yourself are nothing but what is occurring in your own mind. Thank you. Now, the trust that we just read about have increased the frequency of the conceptual self that is constituting your idea about yourself, that's going to bring about an inevitability of the entirety of the solution of the formulation of mind. Let's look at it, which is what the universe is. That is to say, the universe that we see out there in the factoring of our individual self-identity, in a sense, is nothing but an accumulation of thought patterns that we have about how we want to look out in the universe. I'm excited now, the idea that you're going to let me teach you particulars of honesty. Shall I tell you why? Look at this. The quintessential universe. See? Shall we go into definitions of what quintessential is? You may if you wish. Shall we simplify it? Let's call it God. Let's call the idea of quintessential ideas of the increase in energy frequencies in a direct purpose of honesty with ourselves, in particulars of alternatives that are available to us in the continuation, look with me, of the inevitability of our, say to me, emotional involvement with the manner in which we proceed in objective association, in quintessential observation of the inevitability of the entirety of the universe. Be honest with me. I'm going to read to you the trust in the exchange of a process of new light reflection that are giving us glimpses, you ready, of how we actually look about ourselves. The teaching of the inevitability, of the singularity, of the power of your mind to make decisions on outcomes in the universe that are obviously already occurring in a constant variation are why we're here. So in our teacher's manual, we are involved with the idea of motion. And the idea of motion involves the idea of emotional involvement with proceedings of light factor and how you want to look at yourself in the activity of your expressed determination to see more in the light factor than you were previously willing to look at. Trust me with this? Thank you. That's why I'm turned an advanced teacher. All I'm really offering you, perhaps, if you want to acknowledge it, is a little better reflection of how you want to look at yourself in that correspondence. Now, you be honest with me in that trust? Let's be honest together just for a moment and look at another characteristic of the teachers of God. We call it honesty.